Bam, bam. There we go.
Hey everybody, welcome to Canadian Mortgage Hangout TV. My name is Gordon McCallum. I've got my good buddy Scott Dawson with me. How are you, Scott?
Not
Hurricane
bad.
Scott Dawson.
Yeah, recovering. I'm still tired. Catching up. Catching up.
For those of you who
Everything's okay.
good, yes, we were concerned that Scott's last show might have been his last show.
I was too, believe me.
So we touched on it a little bit last week while you were away, but tell everybody where you were and why you were concerned for your safety.
Yeah, I was in trying to take a nice relaxing week off, semi-working vacation. And I was expecting to come onto the show. I was in Cabo San Lucas. Well, it was going to be for a week. It turned out not to be during Hurricane Odile. So I was ready to come on the hangout. Did U Street. It was an awesome hangout, by the way. And I actually had a Verico conference call. We were doing a webinar on social media with Rob Campbell. So I was supposed to call in for that as well, but obviously the hurricane put a damper on that. No cell phone service, no internet, no nothing, no power for 3 days. So
just like living in the 80s.
Yeah, it was definitely an experience. Not something I'd want to go through again. But I'll definitely go back to Cabo. I mean, I love Mexico.
How long is it going to take? How long is it going to take them to rebuild down there? Do you think? Yeah, obviously, they're reliant on that industry, so they.
Yeah, it's tourism. It's going to be tough. I mean, the airport. If people are following me on Google Plus, I've got all the pictures. I was able to take some pictures with my phone of some of the damage. But the airport is destroyed. There's no glass is everywhere. Stuff is blown out. The town was pretty much devastated as well. But from what I've been reading, and that's the thing, there wasn't a lot of reporting on the news about it, other than tourists are stuck there and they're getting out. We were flown out by the military to another Mexican city and had to find our way home. But from what I've been reading on some of the local kind of travel blogs and stuff, like in Cabo San Lucas, they're actually starting to really pull together and rebuild. So. They're doing a good job. It's just going to be some of the infrastructure. I think it's going to take some time. It's going to be.
They didn't ask you to carry any strange-looking parcels or children across the border with you.
There was no. It's funny because there's people are asking me like, how do you get there? And it's literally we lined up at the airport. The lineup was probably a couple thousand people long, and had our luggage. And you walk out kind of onto the tarmac, which is. In Mecca, that's all that was there, kind of over these fences and everything else to get there. And we literally threw our own bags into the back of a 727 on the tarmac and then walked up and up into the plane. So the one thing I said as I was throwing the bag in, it's like, at least I know the luggage is going to arrive in Guadalajara. And
you were the one abusing it.
So.
Yeah, if somebody's going to throw my luggage, at least I want it to be me.
Exactly. Literally, had to lift it up and throw it into the top of the plane. So, yeah.
That's how they always do it. You just don't get to see it.
You just don't see it. So,
normally.
But no, happy
don't put the $1,000 camera in there.
No. But anyways, happy to be safe. Everybody at the resort, we were treated really well by the resort. And
good.
The group of people, the Canadians, we kind of banded together. There was a dozen of us. Everybody's home safe and all good.
Well, we missed you while you were gone. We did have a great conversation with Yusri Basada, who's one of the pillars of light in our industry in terms of his involvement and commitment and I guess support of the industry and the things that he's done as an entrepreneur. So it was great. It was a great conversation. We learned a lot from him about what Kinetics and Rate Supermarket are doing and essentially how they're responding to the demand of the internet rate shopper and how they're trying to respond to that trend online. Speaking of online, though, you mentioned Google Plus earlier. Did you see the article I sent you on how basically Google, at least according to this article, I don't know if it's true or not, but Google seems to be kind of abandoning Google Plus, and that's
what I've heard. They've taken some of before we kind of get onto that, let's say, obviously it's just us today, right? Rob Campbell's at a sales roadshow with Verico, so he'll have I'm sure, some tidbits for next week to talk about. And Jackson's on vacation.
Jackson's on the road to Avonlea. Or actually, he may already be in Avonlea.
So it's just us today. We tried to get another guest on, but it's just kind of short notice, so. Google Plus, I don't know, I guess there's always been naysayers. I like Google Plus. I like obviously we're hanging out right now on Google Plus. I think it's a great tool. I think it's I do know they've taken some of the the search results still show up in Google if you're connected, but I know they've taken away like the little picture of somebody that's on there. They've taken that away, so they may be backing away from it a little bit. But I don't know. I like it. I have some good engagement on there. It's a great place to share some pictures. It's a great place to kind of have your pictures backed up as well. They have that photo. You can save it on your Google Plus Photos. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, there's lots I like about it too, and I think it'll be too bad if they throw in the towel on it. But you know, Google, there's more likelihood that they'll come up with something else. I kind of wonder if it's not harder as a bigger organization. You started to see this happen to Microsoft too, when Microsoft really, and you know, obviously they're still a huge company and doing very well, but when they were the dominant player in the marketplace, everything they came out with was so roundly criticized, whether it was warranted or not. Just and a startup that nobody has any dirt on, a startup that nobody has come to hate yet, almost becomes more appealing, even with an inferior product or whatever. Like I would say, Google Plus is a far more advanced, far more functional, far more user-friendly, far better platform than even Twitter. And yet, you know, Twitter is something everybody is oohing and awing over, but you know, it kind of came out of nowhere, so nobody had developed any kind of expectations of it or hatred of it. So maybe it'll be interesting to see if that changes.
Without it, we wouldn't have the Hangouts, right? I mean, I think this technology
That's
is
true,
probably
yeah.
one of the best things they've ever done on it. I mean, the quality and what we can do with this is pretty amazing. In a few clicks, you know, you're online, you're live. It's posted to YouTube, it's posted to Google Plus, and it's embedded on the website. You know, it's that simple.
Yeah,
and it's free.
Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been great. Did you? Lots of controversy this morning. New article out, and shout out to Edmonton. Go Yeg. We have this. Is it? Am I allowed to use the word douche on the internet?
I don't think they block us out. I don't know.
No. Okay.
Rob Campbell's said worse. So
he's definitely said worse. I'm gonna throw that word out there as a possible descriptor for this fellow, a fellow named Hilliard Macbeth, who is an Edmonton-based, sadly, portfolio manager with Richardson GMP. And I actually know some of the guys at Richardson GMP, and they're really nice guys. And maybe they'll get mad at me for saying this about their colleague, but I'm basing it only on what I know about this book and the publicity he's getting for it, which I kind of feel guilty about even giving him any more. But he's written this book called When the Bubble Bursts, Surviving the Canadian Real Estate Crash. Can you?
No. So his book's not out yet, right? So he's
not even out till March. Yeah.
So he's hawking his book. The bubble, it always makes headlines, doesn't it? But it's in the Globe and Mail because he sent the link over.
Yeah.
I'm not watching the Twitter, so you can maybe post the link. But
yeah, I'll do that.
In the same newspaper, like 2 days before, and CNBC saying now, no, there's no bubble. So CNBC hasn't have to sell books. So basically the gist of it is I got out of it is sell now, buy my book in March, and then invest in my portfolio. That's it.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, he's predicting he's gone full Dr. Doom, like way beyond, because the standard, I've never heard of this guy, and I live in this town, but you know, maybe he's well known, and he wrote another book in 1972 or something like that, and you know, people probably didn't buy it either, but he said the Canadian housing market is due not for a 10% correction, not for a 20% correction, not for a 30% correction, or even a 50% correction. Like we're gonna just see prices cut in half in the spring, just in the spring. He's kind of around the spring. Depends a little bit, according to what he says. It sort of depends a little bit on a few things, but I figure around the spring. Scott, what would have to happen for that to happen?
I don't even know what to say.
Like, okay, now we know with real estate, you only truly earn a profit or a loss on real estate when you do what?
If you sell it.
If you sell it. So he's predicting just a fire sale, like going out of business, everything must go.
Where are they gonna go?
No offer refused. What?
Where are you gonna go?
Well, exactly. Where are they gonna go? And he's like, and you should all rent.
Yeah.
Everybody should sell their house, pay the cost of selling the house, because there's some costs involved with that, right? There's a cost involved with moving.
Mm-hmm.
Take a bath on your property because it's okay, because it's only gonna get worse, right? And then just rent a magical home that happens to be available to rent. Presumably that's owned by somebody else.
Yeah,
who hasn't also sold the home that they're in because they read this guy's book or read the article about the book that's not out yet. Like, that would have to be an absolute, like, I mean, if I can't even, does he even think that, like, would he have to sit and think that through, or would he just go, I know this is going to get headlines, some idiot reporter is going to put me in the newspaper and talk about my bold predictions?
Yep. He's got to sell those books somehow.
Sell them books with a Z. Not only that, but then yeah, when you're looking at now, I'm sure he's gonna. This is how the other guys have done it, right? Like, as soon as anybody criticizes them for their crappy predictions, they're like, "Wow, you're a realtor, or you're a mortgage broker, and you have skin in the game to try to keep it." But what's his skin in the game? He's selling books.
Yeah, but he's selling. You have to sell your house and then invest in, whatever equities,
in stocks, presumably.
Hopefully, hit the funds that he manages.
Yeah, I actually he mentioned something. I think he was quoted here. Let me just see if I can find the quote. Yeah, anyway, I can't find the exact quote, but he basically said, I started noticing that a lot of my clients were talking a lot about real estate. Like, dude, it was probably performing better than the stocks you were selling them. No wonder they were talking about it. People aren't necessarily going to buy what you've got to sell. They're going to make a rational decision based on what's going to perform better for them at that point in time. And maybe there are times when real estate's not been a good buy, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, but it's always a good buy if you need a home to live in.
Yeah.
Well, and you're not getting over, and you can afford it, right? Like, it's obviously you don't want to get overextended. We say that all the time, but you have to live somewhere.
Yeah, you do. And he even said they tried to trap him a little bit at the end of the article. Like, do you own a home? Oh, yes, but it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle for me. It's not an investment. It's a lifestyle. Well, okay, but so you're telling everybody else to ditch the lifestyle that you also, like, are you going to sell? What happens if the value of your home goes down 20% in March and you're predicting 50% by the end of the spring? Are you going to get out, or are you going to hold on to it?
Exactly.
If you're the author, put your money where your mouth is. He should be selling now.
He should be selling now. Get listed.
Sell that house, buddy. Rent. He's a douche. That's a douchey thing to say.
Not more about this guy. I think he's had his.
I'm tired of talking about him already.
Maybe you can get it if he's in Edmonton, though. Maybe you can get his book signed.
I'll get him to sign something, but it won't be his book. Oh, jeez. I might be a little bit. I'm feeling a little snarky today. That's the first thing I read this morning, and it's just like, come on.
Yeah, I don't read the news.
I think it's best not to, man. It's best not to. So, sometimes it comes back at you when you're not politically correct, but sometimes guys need to be just called out, and maybe we could have him on the show. Should we try to get him on the show?
Yeah, we should.
We won't send him the link to this part, though.
No, don't tell him what we're talking about.
Okay, friends on Twitter, if you're watching the show, like Lloyd Pritchard is, hello, Lloyd, how are you? You can follow along on hashtag CMHTV. And you can watch all the back shows at CanadianMortgageHangout.tv. If you're watching right now, give us a thumbs up if you want to see Hilliard Macbeth from Richardson GMP, Dr. Doom Squared on the show. I feel like he just added up like he took Garth Turner, he took David Medani, and he took Ben Rabideau, lumped them all together, and doubled their worst predictions, and said, "That's my new prediction. I'm upping the ante. I'm going all in. Here's all my poker chips. I'm retiring in 2 years anyway, especially if my book sells, and I don't care about my reputation anymore. I'm just gonna go for it. I want to be in the newspaper." What else is going on in the world of mortgages? I noticed you. Any changes coming down the pipe? Do you think anything lenders are doing that kind of annoy you right now, or that you'd like to see change, or that's holding things up in your market? What's going on in Vancouver?
We've been kind of not bad. I mean, it's this week's been a little bit kind of weird because it's back to school week, which is weird for BC, but obviously teachers are back to school, so. You
guys had the strike.
Yeah, the strike. So it's kind of put a kink in some of my meetings and stuff and everything else. But it's good. It's good the kids are back to school. Plugging away. I'm not swamped with deals right now, but people are out there looking. Multiple offers. There's stuff that I have clients that were selling their condo in Vancouver to move up to buy a house, and they just listed it, and literally within the first weekend it was sold for what they were asking, and they were like, "We didn't think it was going to sell this fast." And it's a quick, one thing I have been noticing is stuff is a lot more. The pipeline of closing is a lot shorter on deals. I mean, I would say almost always now within 30 days. It's weird. That's what's really shifted. I don't know what's made that happen, but no more. I haven't done a long closing over probably 50 days in a long time.
Yeah, it would have to be probably a new construction deal to go that long, I think.
Which I don't know if any of the people watching across Canada, if it's the same everywhere. I don't know, but that's one thing that I've noticed. Which makes it a bit sometimes challenging for for budgeting or for your planning and that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's weird. I mean, one day the phone rings and you're closing a deal in a week and a half.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and that's great. I mean, it's great because it's nice to put the work in, and also to have. I find that I like having. It's a double-edged sword to have those quick COFs or quick close, because it puts a little bit of pressure on you to get it done and wrapped up pretty quick and things like that. But on the other hand, it's nice to have that deadline because it forces you not to let things drag out. You don't leave any docs to the last minute. You're not maybe getting as many surprises that you work on something for a long time and then find out, oh man, I should ask for that. I'm trying to get the rust off. I'm finding I had a lender yesterday. I'm working with clients for the first time in about 5 or 6 years, and I'm actually really, really enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's creating essentially 2 or 3 jobs for me, because the Sunday night I had to work till 3:30 in the morning, which was 3:30 in the morning Monday, to catch up, and I'm still not caught up. But I put in like 7 hours. Actually, more than that. I put in 8 hours. From 7 hours, from 8 till 3:30 in the morning, and just to get caught up on stuff that I can't do now because I'm working with clients. But the lender, bless their soul, said to me, "Gord, I know it's a long time since you've done this." And I was like, "Be gentle." But things have changed, right? You can't just there are things that I did and we could do. Not because they were wrong, but we could kind of get away with them because the standards weren't quite as high the last time I wrote a deal. And now, there's a lot more paperwork involved. There's a lot more detail involved. There are checks and balances on things that were just kind of, a little looser back in the day in terms of verification. So having to explain that to clients. I'm basically blaming terrorists and money launderers a lot. I'm just having a conversation with you yeah, I know it's not your fault. It's the terrorists. It's the money launderers. They're the ones to blame. Don't blame me. I'm just the messenger. So.
Yeah, it's definitely looking back. It's we work a lot harder for our commissions. That's for sure on a lot of files.
Yeah, and at the same time, there's probably warranted. I mean, my average loan amount tripled in 10 years, and I didn't do anything to create that little boost in my income. So if I got to work a little harder for the commissions I earn now, I suppose that's only fair. But yeah, it's made the work and the detail required to do the work. You really have to be a detail-oriented person to make sure you're not missing things.
Yeah, stay on top of it.
Yeah.
In terms of lender changes, I just got an email this morning. Our favorite lender, TD, is making some changes.
Oh, which changes are those?
I'm guessing this is just in broker channel, because that's what it's kind of the email says, but they're no longer doing more broker-initiated deals in the Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. That won't necessarily affect me that much. I've never done a mortgage there, but some people probably.
They're no longer doing deals at all. Broker-originated deals.
Broker-initiated deals, so probably in branch still, obviously. But they're also making changes. They're no longer doing mortgages in company name, construction draw mortgages, and factory-built or modular mobile or floating home mortgages in the broker channel.
So we're still doing them, but just you can't do them.
We can't do them. So I don't know, but you up in northern Edmonton area,
we get
a mobile home up there, right?
No, we just flat out don't do mobiles at our office. We probably leave some money on the table by not doing them, but we hate them.
They are kind of a pain.
Yeah, and I actually usually tell that those are an opportunity for me to send people to competition that I don't like. So I'm like, you should really call TD Bank. They do those. And sometimes they listen to me, and I especially like doing that when their beacon's like 540. I'm like, you should really call these guys. They're perfect for it. It seems unfair, but they do it to me. So I know we just don't like. I haven't done mobiles ever.
I've done a couple. Few. Yeah. We don't come across that often, but.
No, it's not our bread and butter. It's not our ideal client. It's just not something that we feel we can be really good at or competitive at, and it kind of distracts us from the other stuff. So I'm sure there are brokers who make a living at it, and good for them. I think that's great. I don't have a problem with it. There's a good market. There's good demand for them for sure. I don't like them as an asset class either. So
what else changes? Oh, MCAP.
Just on the TD thing, do you think that those changes are because did you hear the other news that First National is doing all of the aren't they underwriting for TD?
Yeah, they're going to start that, right? They're going to open up underwriting center in Vancouver and I think Toronto. I could be wrong with that, but apparently that's been pushed back a little bit though until the new year again. They're getting it in place, but that's what's going to happen.
Well, I think that'll help them if they use First Nat's people and process. That'll speed things up at TD, and maybe that's just to be more in line with what First National people are comfortable with, right? They're probably not writing those things either. So
no, that's right. They don't. So it's hard to say. I don't use TD a heck of a lot, but they have some certain products and programs that are good.
Yeah, they've been good. They've been a good lender in the past. Yeah. We don't use them as much anymore. But so you were saying MCAP?
Yeah, I guess they've kind of relaunched their Eclipse program, so they've got kind of much of the same, but I think they've sharpened their pencils a little bit on the pricing, which is good. So kind of nice to see alternative options.
That's good to know. I should ask my BDM about that because we're doing the odd thing here and there with Home Trust and with Equitable, and it's always nice to have options. Who else do you use for that sort of thing, Scott?
There's kind of the Equitable Bank is one. MCAP Eclipse I've started to use on this new product, and Home Trust is kind of the main ones. And then obviously you still need to show income, right? So other than that, it's going. If it doesn't fit there, it's going private. So.
Yeah, I suppose. Have you done anything with Optimum out of Edmonton? Are they out west with you guys?
I haven't. Yeah, they are. I think they're out here as well. It's what's her name from Optimum? Can't remember. Totally can't remember her name.
Optimum BDM, you need to spend more time in Scott's office because he doesn't know your name.
I can't remember.
It's okay.
No, I don't. I've used kind of those three: MCAP, Equitable Bank, and Home Trust.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, it's good to have good. Anytime there's more competition in a particular space, that's a good sign.
See more and more. Well, it's not necessarily B. It's like stuff that would normally fit a year and a half ago now fitting in these products, right? Because they can't. Just, again, like you said, coming back to underwriting, looking and working with clients. I mean, the policies have changed so much.
Are you finding it's primarily income verification then? So you've got a lot of them, you even have a really good credit or perfect credit, but income verification is a challenge, or the ratios are a little high?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's business for self. People have definitely been hit the hardest, for sure.
For sure.
And even rental stuff, with all the changes with rentals. I mean, try and get rentals done.
Well, that's and especially if you have multiple properties. Now,
Yeah.
my understanding is that's something you should look at in terms of Optimum, is that they're pretty friendly towards rentals. They don't have any limits on rentals or something like that. They have maybe less restrictions. I'd have to obviously.
Yeah, I think Optimum. I think I read an email this morning. It's as much like Equitable Trust as they don't have a limit of rental properties a client can have, yet they have a limit of 4 with them. So if a big portfolio, it's a good alternative down the road.
Yeah, maybe get a few done that way. Good. Well, I think we're kind of nearing the end of the show. Enjoy the visit as always. What are your plans for the fall? Anything you're going to focus on, or anything as a company, maybe that Verico or your particular brokers is working on?
Yeah, just trying to keep. They've got a couple of things in the burner. I won't share yet, but there's always thinking. So
yeah, good. Well, glad you're home safe and sound, and I'm sure I'll see you next week, Thursday, same time, hopefully with the other fellows back. We may have a special guest. We haven't confirmed anybody yet. But.
Yeah, I think we'll be back, everybody, next week. I know Rob's working on it. He's got a few people scheduled coming in. I'm not sure for next week, but I know he's got some heavy hitters
Great.
Joining us this year, so it's good.
Great. Well, till next time, for our viewers, keep hustling out there. It's a grind, but it's worth it. And you know what? There's not a career out there that pays like this, that creates the opportunities that this one does, and gives you as much opportunity to impact people's lives as this one, that isn't hard. They're all hard. They're all work. Put the effort in, and the results are there. So that's my little spiel for this week. Have a good one.
Here we go. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
There we go.